Welcome to the part 3 of anatomy series on my channel, where I teach about anatomy in drawing. In the past 2 chapters we covered top of the body and arm. Check them out if you didn't saw them, please. We've now arrived at the pelvis, one of the most important parts of the human body, or simply lower half of the body. Hidden part where a lot of people start to struggle. By the end of the video I will say that you at least start to understand them more. So let's get into it then. Body needs a special construction that will be attached to it that allows legs to function properly. All vertebrates that live on land needed those while evolving. Pelvis is similar across most animals, but the human pelvis is a bit unique. The reason is that because humans walk on 2 feet. In short, a very important part of the body that you have to know. Let's move on to the more drawing part. Pelvis's bones are really complicated structure with a lot of details that you can't easily process. Thinking about the function of the pelvis will help you understand its shape. We already know that pelvis is a bone where legs are attached. How conveniently leg bones should attach to body. Connecting legs from bottom is a bad idea because there would be a lot of more pressure on the leg. Also, sitting and moving legs would be a problem too. That's why connecting it from the sides with spherical joint is a better idea. It can move in various directions with this connection. Second thing we should consider that there is a hollow to hold the internal organs. So that's lead us to this shape, pretty close to the pelvis. In the end we can divide it into 3 parts just like clavicles and sacrum. Moving on to gender difference. Okay, it should be obvious why female pelvis is different from male. It's because of reproductive systems and childbirth. A lot of people confuse how to draw manly or feminine characters. So in this case, pelvis will save you. Most important thing to acknowledge is a male ribcage is bigger than pelvis. That means males doesn't have much curvatures. Female pelvis is wider and ribcage is smaller. Because of this, they have signature curves like this. Also, this wide pelvis affects to walking. In comparison, short pelvis of males optimized for movement and they can relatively run faster. From sides, they have differences too, and they look like this. Female pelvis is tilted forward and male backward. Because on female's body pelvis tilted forward, hips look like they're sticking out a bit. The result is the detail that helps them draw them, making it like anatomical landmark. Well, in the first half of the video we figured that almost all animals on land needs legs to move around. They had to evolve in various ways to be efficient, so they look different from each other a bit, but in reality they share the same purpose. Rule of the nature, kill or be killed, and food chain made them continuously improving ways to move. In this case, human is weak because we move on 2 feet while others on 4, so we already know how legs work because it's not complicated like pelvis. Concept is pretty easy. 3 joints on legs will be a perfect amount for mobility efficiency. More or less joints are pointless. In comparison from arms, legs are meant to movement. They are not only bigger, they are also stronger by default, unless you aren't moving on your hand all your life. But definitely, arm and legs are pretty similar in its construction. The femur is the top part of the bones like humerus in the arm. This bone, covered in the flesh, has a wide layer of fat, so we call it thigh. This is the classic bone that displays on cartoons and on the pirate flag. Femur is the strongest and the biggest bone in the body, and it must be strong. It has to hold the whole body along with muscles. Femur connects the pelvis from certain angle like humerus, and it's tilted differently on men and women. Tilt is greater in women. Thanks to its pelvis size, they have this unique shape. My drawings might not be entirely accurate, so I recommend studying bones carefully using reliable references to ensure a better understanding of anatomical structures, and all over the body yourself too, preferably in 3D view. It will give idea how to place them, plus help to understand the construction of the human body. If we talk about bones of the lower leg, tibia and fibula, that's the name of these 2 bones. In terms of similarity with forearm bones, they only look alike. They not share pronation supination movement. They only do flexion and extension, and the reason for this limited movement is better support for weight. At least they look stronger together, ain't they? Tibia is the bone that sticks out from your leg. It can absorb impact without muscles, so that's strong, but it hurts a lot when it's hit. Oh my god! Also, They affect the look of the knee area along with the femur. Aside from that, tibia and fibula is a bottom part, create this recognizable appearance. Ankle bone. There is a gender difference on the lower leg too. It calls Q angle. Basically, it's an angle that naturally appears on females because pelvis is wider. Of course, it depends on the person, but if Q angle is wide, running will be not easy. Legs more likely will be angled outward. Technically, this is useless in nature environment and will be causing difficulties, but this is aesthetic and feminine side of the females. It makes easier crossed legs and gives some charm. For the biggest joint of the body, kneecap, it connects to bones using muscle and cartilage, serves as protection and also helps flexing the leg too. If you relax and place your leg on the surface, you can move your kneecap using your hand. But if you try to lift your leg, you couldn't move your kneecap anymore. Let's talk about proportions a bit. Have you ever thought why pantyhose and high heels makes legs look more beautiful? Because it makes lower leg appear to be longer. But some people with actual long legs have lower leg almost the same size as thigh. The more shorter your lower leg, the more accurate movement you can do, and longer lower leg means that you can run better. So in conclusion, giving your characters a longer leg will actually make them look more aesthetically beautiful. Most of the muscles of the leg almost like on the arm, both functionality and appearance. But to be honest, knowing every muscle is no need if you're not drawing illustrations for anatomy book. Instead, learning every muscle, it will be enough learning groups of muscles and curve that leg shape partially follow. So when you draw legs, try to avoid drawing them straight and make them look more curvy to look better. Leg adduction muscle group, adductor magnus helps to pull legs inward. Also, there is a gracilis muscle that becomes more visible when legs are spread like this. Plus, there is 3 adductor muscles that will count as one. Leg abduction muscles, this muscle equivalent to deltoid of the arm, and glutes muscles on this group too. Leg extension muscle group, long muscles on the front, very noticeable muscle on soccer players, and so on. Leg crossing muscle, sartorius muscle, longest muscle in the human body. It acts like boundary between front and inward side muscles, gives a shape. So pretty important muscle. Toe raise and instep muscles. Not much to say here, but gives pretty cool shape for the lower leg. All the muscles on the back, including flexion muscles as hamstring and glutes, plus muscles to raise heels where Achilles tendon locate. Okay, we still have foot that I don't like drawing, to be honest. Usually, while drawing characters, feet are hidden behind shoes or just excluded from the picture. But in the end, it might add some personality to characters because emotions can be expressed through feet too, like shaking one leg while sitting show anxiety. Drawing foot is complicated like drawing hand, so it would be better for understanding if we break it down to several parts. There is also a lot of things why foot look like this instead looking like, I don't know, like on four-legged animal. Well, because if foot looked like that, it wouldn't be stable to stand on 2 feet, so it got flatter to support weight, and contact with surface has to be broader. But all of this led to another problem. Legs got shorter and it affects survival, because, as we know, longer feet allow to run faster. So animals that walk with whole feet use forelimb more frequently than other animals, like bears or squirrels. But bears or other animals can run faster than humans just because they use all their limbs while running, but human not. Flat feet allows to be more stable, but moving is not great. Human feet evolved from flat shape to arc shape to move faster, so the concept worked like a running four-legged animal. This gave human huge advantage that allows to move faster and standing stable, plus using hands. That's why with flat foot you can't run for a long period of time. Therefore, to walk on 2 legs, our feet must take turns balancing body. If you remember how it's difficult to ride bike slowly and you have to balance it, but in riding it fast requires less strength and balance. That is one more reason how legs look now. Foot evolved to be wider to walk and support the weight. As a result, foot gives an arc-shaped look. If the arc on the leg was on the outside, it would be much more difficult to stand. That's why arc located inwards. As I said in the beginning, let's break it down into parts. First, you have to draw a basic shape. Let's add some 4 toes and a big toe. And first thing we do is adding heels. Include arc if you're drawing medial side of foot. Adding 2 bones of bottom of the foreleg, and you're basically done with the basic construction. Then if we go into details, we should add curvature here and there to make it more like foot. Of course, you wouldn't be drawing it all the time when you draw feet, it just makes it clear to understand the construction. If you train enough using references, you'll eventually come up with your own way simplifying foot and drawing it. This method includes drawing shoes too, because they're not so different from feet, they're relatively easier to draw even, because you don't have to draw toes. That's what makes it difficult. So that's the end of the video. I'm almost sure that you at least learned something new for yourself. Of course, you have to draw frequently, because when you draw, you'll automatically analyze it, and remembering it will be much easier. Repeating this process until count will be shifted to quality of your drawings. While drawing or not, you will be watching at something, but when you have to draw it, you'll start noticing nuances and details that you never noticed before. So to solve our problem with drawing, you just have to draw a lot more.